In our previous video, we arrived at a highly uncomfortable conclusion. The best outcome for West Bengal right now is a weak coalition government. We need politicians who are absolutely terrified of losing power. But that raises a massive logistical problem. A hung assembly requires millions of voters acting together across the entire state. If you are just one person standing alone in a booth, how does your individual choice force that mathematical reality? To solve this, we have to approach the election like an intellectual strategy game, because controlling the massive statewide outcome actually requires you to do the exact opposite of what the political machines want you to do. Take a look at this image from the Trinamool Congress campaign trail. Political parties deliberately design these events to overwhelm you. They frame the election as a top-down battle for the chief minister's seat, asking you to vote for the state's singular figurehead. The opposition applies the exact same tactic in reverse. Here, the BJP floods their state rallies with the prime minister's face, pushing a nationalized double-engine narrative to completely overwrite your local reality. To maintain this macro-level focus, campaigns flood the airwaves with identity politics. They stoke friction between Matua and Rajbanshi communities, or magnify religious fears about cross-border infiltration to drown out specific neighborhood concerns. Then, they attempt to buy loyalty through direct cash transfers and welfare handouts. But look at these teaching candidates, sitting in protest holding signs displaying 700 days and 0 jobs. Handouts are actively used to mask the severe economic realities of corruption and statewide unemployment. The absolute first step to reclaiming your political power is to cut that noise. You have to actively ignore the statewide drama when deciding your vote. This map shows the true mathematical reality of West Bengal. The state is divided strictly into 294 individual assembly constituencies. To navigate this rigged system, we apply a game theory concept known as the minimax strategy, making choices that minimize your maximum possible loss. This requires adopting a highly counterintuitive rule. You must completely erase the chief minister from your mind. You are assigned exactly 1 seat out of those 294. Your true power lies in fiercely guarding that specific sphere of influence and completely ignoring the 293 races happening outside your polling booth. When you look at the ballot, perform a quick mental test. Picture this graphic where the heavy logos of the AITC, BJP, and Left Front are entirely erased. You are left looking only at individual human names. Evaluate those names using strict micro-level metrics. What is their actual day-to-day accessibility? What is their personal character? What tangible impact will they have on the pavement outside your door? Actively reject the criteria the parties want you to use. Do not vote based on caste divisions. Ignore religious affiliations. Deny any candidate offering the promise of immediate, short-term financial compensation. See this single button on the EVM? Pressing it is an isolated hiring decision. Stripped of the massive party machine, you are simply selecting a local representative for your specific street. Prioritizing the person over the party banner erodes the predictability of the statewide results. It forces the system to contend with 294 individual outcomes rather than one large, manageable wave. Millions of these isolated local decisions aggregate into a result the party machines cannot predict. When the focus stays on the street level, the sweeping macro narratives lose their power to command the entire map. Watch how this plays out on the map. If everyone votes strictly locally, the best candidate in one district might be from the Left Front. Next door, it might be the Trinamool Congress, while the following districts elect a BJP candidate or a strong independent. This merit-driven fragmentation is the exact mathematical vulnerability political machines fear most. The goal is absolute denial. By spreading the votes based on individual merit, no single political entity can successfully aggregate the 148 seats required for absolute control. By stubbornly acting in your own strict local self-interest, you accidentally engineer the perfect hung assembly. Look at this legislative assembly hall. In a hung outcome, the math in this room shifts. No single party holds the gavel, meaning every major policy must be negotiated across the floor with rivals. The constant looming threat of that coalition collapsing is the only mechanism that keeps politicians accountable. It forces them to negotiate and actually listen to the public. Stop worrying about who rules Bengal. Cut through the propaganda, ignore the statewide noise, and vote only for the person who defends your specific street.